also across all social media. Mirage, making every wedding better.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. I am your host, Mandy, and I'm going to be talking to myself for a little bit this morning because my co-host, Sue, isn't here. Maybe we should start a hashtag, Where is Sue? I'd like to think she's sunning herself on a beach in Jamaica or something. So Sue is not with me this week. She is on a well-deserved holiday. So for the first half of the show, I am going to be talking about stalking. It was National Stalking Awareness Week last week, and I've got some really interesting facts, information about stalking, and also some tips on what you can do if you, friend or family, was being stalked. But I'm going to start with, as always, our question of the week, and I would love if you could text or phone or comment. So the number to ring in is 01733 602 133. The text is 074 119 1062, or you can comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. So I have a life dilemma. I'm moving house soon, and I'm moving into a cottage, a little tiny cottage, which I'm very excited about. But in the cottage, in the living room, there is no room for a TV. So that is, yeah, the producer of the show has just looked at me like, oh my goodness, what are you going to do? So this is the question of the week. What would you do without a TV? So at the moment, I do like to read, so I'm thinking reading would be a good idea. Apart from that, I'm kind of stuck. So I need your help. What would you do without a TV? Please do call in, text, or comment on the Facebook. I've just seen the Facebook post from Salam saying, "Where is Sue? We will find her." Okay, so like we always do, we haven't been on the show for, I think it's pretty much about a month, and absolutely delighted to be back on the show because it's literally my favourite thing to do. When it doesn't feel like work, which is amazing. But I just wanted you to update you on the things that have been going on at Peterborough Women's Aid. So we say this like every time, don't we? But it's been super, super busy. And one of the big things that has been going on is that we have opened a brand new service. And we are working in the Victim and Witness Hub. Now, the Victim and Witness Hub is part of kind of like the police force. So any victim of crime gets contacted by the Victim and Witness Hub to see if they need any support, kind of make sure they're okay. And if the crime is more serious, the Victim and Witness Hub workers will kind of hold your hand through the journey of, the police being involved and going to court and maybe being a witness and stuff like that. So we have started a brand new service at the Victim and Witness Hub. And what we are doing, we have a team working there, and any reports of domestic abuse that are classed as a medium risk, we will make that first call to the victim. So the victim gets immediate specialist support from our agency, from Peterborough Women's Aid, and it's done really, really quickly, because we know that victims of abuse, they really do need that support after kind of reporting the crime. So that's going extremely well. And that's a really exciting and innovative project which has been funded by the Police and Crime Commissioner of Cambridgeshire. Other things that have been going on. So we celebrated Eid, which was amazing. We had food and henna and just lots of celebrations. Our lovely colleagues who were observing Ramadan, it's been, I tell you what, it's been nice to have them back in the office and eating food, because they make the most wonderful dishes for us. So we had a really lovely Eid celebration at Anne's house. We also have, we've talked previously about our group on a Tuesday morning, which is called Women Warriors, and it's for any woman who wants support. They can come, and we do various activities, wellbeing activities. We do arts and crafts. We do lots and lots of things. And we were doing this on a Tuesday morning at Anne's house, which is on Cromwell Road, and it has been so successful, to the point of, I can tell you, over the last 18 months, we've had over 700 visits from women and children to this group. So we got some feedback from the people that come, and their feedback was, we need more of this, you need to do more of this. So we opened Women Warriors with Aprons, and that is at Anne's house, and that is 10:30 till 12 on a Friday, and really focuses on kind of arts and crafts and mindfulness and well-being, and again, really well attended. So if there's any women out there that want support, want to make friends, maybe new to the area, please do come to our groups, Tuesday and Friday, 10:30 till 12, 32 to 34 Cromwell Road. Other things that have been going on, so we are still advertising for runners in the Great Eastern Run. So last year we had 58 runners, and we really want to get to the 100 this year. So if you want to run the half marathon and you can raise over £150, we will pay for your entry. And if you want to run the 5K, so the 5K is like, it can be a fun run, or you can take it seriously, like my 9-year-old did it last year with his dad, really enjoyed it. You only need to raise 75 quid and we will pay for your entrance. So please do reach out. You can call our advice line if you would like to get involved, or go on our website. It's 01733 894 964. Other things that I just want to mention that have been happening. We've had some excellent fundraising events. So we had a sponsored swim in Stamford. We've had an Easter raffle online. We've got some women walking around, I can't remember the name of it, Rutland Water. We've had lots of Easter egg donations, and we're still out and about trying to drop off our charity pots. So if you would like one of our charity pots at your business, please go on our website and contact us. So lots of things going on at Peterborough Women's Aid over the last month, and we're delighted to be back with you. So our question of the week is, very briefly, I'm moving, and the house I'm going to, the living room is very small and there is no room for a TV. So the question of the week is, what would you do without a TV? please do call me on 01733 602 133. Text on 07119 1062. Or if you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch, just pop me a comment and tell me, what would you do without a TV? So, moving on. Last week was Stalking Awareness Week. And this is a really, really important subject because 1 in 4 women are likely to have experienced stalking. So when we think about stalking, what do we think about? Do we think about, someone in a balaclava hiding behind bushes, binoculars, dressed in camo? Or is there a lot more to stalking than it actually is? So let's look at the definition of stalking. So, stalking is a pattern of repeated, unwanted behaviour that causes you to feel distressed or scared. It can be perpetrated by a man or a woman. So, let's look a little bit more in depth about this. So, stalking can happen with or without a fear of violence. This means that if you are receiving persistent unwanted contact that is causing you distress, but the person has never threatened you, this is stalking and it's not acceptable. Now, I have my own. Now, this is, how can I say it? This is a very kind of light touch on stalking that happened to me. And I didn't actually realise it was stalking at the time. So I was a single mum with 2 boys, and I'd just bought a house. And I didn't really know anyone in the village that I'd moved to. I only had like my mum and my sister who were supporting me, and I needed some basically DIY stuff doing around the house. And I went into town, and there was a man and his wife, and they were literally handing out leaflets saying, handyman, and they appeared very nice. So I went and I contacted the business. I contacted the guy, and I said, I think one of them was that I needed a new lock, and I needed, some shelves putting up, just stuff, practical stuff. And he came round and he did it, and we got talking, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I think maybe about 24 hours later, he texted me and said, I've been thinking about you, and a woman like you shouldn't be living on her own. And I thought, okay, I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or like a little bit of a threat, or and I kind of text back saying, oh, okay, thanks for the work that you've done, and thought, right, that's going to be the end of it. He then texted me the day later and said, again, I've been thinking about you, and I've been thinking about you being a single mum with those 2 boys. I think that you need a man in your life, basically. So I thought, oh, okay. Again, I just replied like completely nondescript, and I just kind of said, okay, like thanks for that, and that was it, hoping this was kind of the end of it. And then he texted me and he said, I will leave my wife for you if you will take me in. And I thought, whoa, this is getting a bit, heavy. This is getting a bit intense. And I was starting to feel really, really uncomfortable with it. And I was thinking, I live on my own. I've got 2 young boys. This is quite scary because he knows where I live. So I did. At that point, I texted him back and said, please do not text me again. And if you do text me again, I will contact the police. So to me, I mean, that's a really kind of low-level example of stalking. And at the time, I probably didn't think that it was stalking, but it did make me feel really uncomfortable and quite threatened. And I do remember, lying in bed thinking, am I safe? And, I go downstairs and check everywhere and stuff. And that was literally after 3 or 4 texts from one man. And it goes back to the definition of receiving persistent, unwanted contact. So we're going to look a little bit more at stalking in a second. And if you do need any support, because this is a very difficult subject for some people who have experienced stalking behaviours, the number to call is our helpline number at PWA. It's 01733 894 964. So the question of the week is, what would you do without a TV? And I am delighted to tell you that #WhereIsSue has been in touch. She says, "Hi Mandy, I'm missing being there today. If I was without a TV, I don't think I would really be that bothered. I love this." She doesn't watch loads anyway. She thinks she would read more and probably end up at the gym more than she does now. And she says, has a good show. Amazing. Sue is safe. #WhereIsSue. I'm hoping she is enjoying this absolutely beautiful weather we're having. I can see on my screen the weather forecast, and it's going to be 22 on Tuesday, 23 on Wednesday, and 24 on Thursday. This is amazing for April, isn't it? It just makes you feel so good. So good, and, just want to get out there, enjoy the weather. So, I'm talking to you about stalking, and I've just given what I would feel as low-level example of stalking behaviour towards me. But let's have a little bit more of a look at what stalking is. So, a pattern of fixated and obsessive behaviour which is repeated, persistent, intrusive, and cause fear of violence or alarm and distress to the victim. And that is a definition from the Susie Lamplugh Trust. Now, the Susie Lamplugh Trust is a charity that was set up after Susie Lamplugh went missing. And her parent set up this amazing charity to really raise awareness about stalking. So stalking can consist of all types of behaviours. So things like regularly sending flowers or gifts, making malicious communication through text or phone or letters or whatever, damaging property, physical or sexual assault, and it's a behaviour that is persistent and it's clearly unwanted, and it causes you distress. And stalking is something that none of us should have to live with. It has a huge emotional impact on those affected, and it can feel lesions of depression, anxiety, and even PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It can be a psychological abuse as well as a physical crime. So stalking has a huge impact on victims. So let's have a look at who does it. Who stalks people. So like I said before, when we think about perpetrators of stalking, we can think it's like I said, a stranger lurking in the bushes with binoculars and dressed in army whatever, or people following One Direction online, or stalking on Facebook famous people and stuff. So the Susie Lamplugh Trust says that 45% of people who contact their helpline are being stalked by ex-intimate partners. And a further third have some sort of prior acquaintance with their stalker. So, for example, they may have dated, they may have married, or they might have been friends with their stalker. So what we're hearing is that it's not the person, hiding behind a bush with binoculars. It is, more often than not, an ex-partner, a friend, someone you have dated, or been married to. So those are the type of people who perpetrate stalking. So, who gets stalked? Who are the victims? So, basically, anyone can be a victim of stalking. Victims' ages go from, and are you ready for this? Go from 10 years old all the way up, to one of the eldest age that the data covers. It's someone with 73 and being stalked. And it varies from male to female and spread across an entire population. A socio-economic spectrum is what it's called. So it's not about people that, live in a certain way. And a large proportion of stalking victims were professionals. 38% of stalking victims were professionals. So virtually anyone can become a victim of stalking. So it's really important that we know that and we don't kind of stereotype. So we've looked at who stalks and we've looked at who a typical victim might be. So to lighten the tone a little bit, and if you do need help, if you have been a victim of stalking or really concerned about something, please do ring our helpline. It's 01733 894 964. Now, to lighten the mood a bit, my question of the week is, what would you do without a TV? So I've had a couple of responses. We know, #where's Sue? We know that Sue's okay. I have had a text message and it says, if my TV disappeared forever, I would be very, in capital letters, happy just to read a book, lots of books, until the end of time. So someone there who actually doesn't worry a lot about having a TV. And then I've had a comment from Gina. I would get so much done if I didn't have a TV. That's the thing, isn't it? Although she's put, I do like a good series. This is the thing. Would we be more productive without a TV? Because I've started something, on Netflix or Disney or whatever, and I'm thinking, right, I'm just going to watch one episode and then I'm going to go and do the washing up and I'm going to do the cleaning or I'm going to do something. And then I'm like, ooh, this is good. And then end up binge watching. And then I'm going to bed at like midnight and I'm tired the next day, all because I've been watching TV and binged watched the series. Would we be more productive human beings if we didn't have TVs? And maybe, controversially, we might talk to each other more. Yeah, there might be the art of communication in my house. Oh, I've got another one. So Anne. Oh, see, she's exactly said what I've just said. If I didn't have a TV, I'm guessing I would do so much more than I do now. Oh, she would batch cook. Oh, love that, Anne, because I know your cakes, Anne. She would read. She'd listen to podcasts. Oh, I love a podcast. And she said she'd actually ring people instead of texting. So have we hit upon something? Should TVs be banned in all households? I might have gone a bit far there. Maybe. Okay, so... excuse me, we have looked at who stalks, who are the victim of stalkers. And now we're going to look at how long does stalking last. So the average length of time is between 6 months and 2 years. But some research conducted by the Susie Lamplugh Trust found that someone that they worked with had been stalked for 43 years. So they also found that the duration of the stalking tends to increase as the stalker's emotional investment in the relationship increases. And this is one of the reasons that ex-intimate stalking is often considered the most dangerous. So in another show, we are going to be talking to you about Professor Jane Monckton-Smith homicide timeline. And she describes the first stages of relationships and how they go on to be abusive and how eventually, potentially, the perpetrator kills their victim and there's a domestic homicide. Now, stalking is part of this. Stalking the victim, we often find when there is a domestic homicide that stalking is a factor in that murder. So stalking can be a precursor to domestic homicide. Okay. So we know who stalks, we know about the victims, and we know about the length of stalking. And we also know, and this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it, stalking is never, ever the fault of the victim, ever. So let us look at some, I suppose, kind of tips and advice about what you can do to keep yourself safe. So if you are being stalked or having unwanted contact, do not engage with your stalker in any way. Now make sure that you talk to family, friends, neighbours, colleagues, or your manager or anyone about the harassment that you're experiencing. The more people you tell, the more support you will be able to get. And this will also help you if you need to collect further evidence or if you need to put in further protective measures. Be aware of how much personal information is in the public domain, and I will talk about that in a sec. And above everything, trust your instincts. So my low-level stalking example was the minute I got the first kind of dodgy text, my gut was, there's something wrong here. So do trust your instincts. So, physical stalking, what can you do? Consider carrying a personal alarm. Now, Peterborough Women's Aid, we do give out personal alarms for free. So if you go on our website and contact us, you can pop along to our Women's Centre and we will give you a personal alarm. We also advise that you vary your daily routine and take different routes to and from work. So these are some tips on physical stalking, and after the break, I am really hoping I'm going to be joined by a special guest. I'm going to finish off some tips on physical stalking, but I've got an extremely special guest from another charity, which I'm really excited that I'm going to introduce you to her. Her name is Linda from Living Keys. I can see her now. She's here, which is amazing. So enjoy the ad break and I will be back shortly.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Award-winning ST Complete Care provide all kinds of regular and respite care for your loved ones. Rated good by the CQC and with outstanding reviews, ST Complete Care will tailor their services for children and adults, including helping with personal and home care, medication assistance, visits and appointments too. With bilingual carers, ST Complete Care are also experienced with disabilities, dementia, autism, Alzheimer's and more. To arrange your free assessment, call 01733 303300. Caring for you the way you want.
Busy Bunnies Nurseries is where children grow and thrive. It's where your little ones will enjoy expert care, engaging activities and a warm, welcoming environment. Busy Bunnies Nurseries also provide great learning experiences in exceptional indoor and outdoor settings. So when looking for a loving, fun and safe place for your child, visit at 627 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, now with additional parking, or online at busybunniesnurseries.co.uk. Call 01733 897799 to book your visit today. Busy Bunnies Nurseries, where children hop into a brighter future.
There's simply a variety of choice at Chicken Valley, 318 Lincoln Road, and we don't just mean whether you dine in or order for takeaway or delivery. With halal dishes including peri-peri chicken, wings, strips and wraps, Korean burgers, sides, milkshakes and so much more. You'll have to experience Chicken Valley again and again and again. Open 11 a.m. until late, every day of the week. Order delivery via Just Eat, Uber or Food Hub, or for collection call Chicken Valley on 01733 564 053.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Mirage Wedding and Catering Services have everything to make your special day, party or celebration one to remember for all the right reasons. As well as quality catering, freshly made with seasonal produce, Mirage supplies stages, lighting and house lights, decor and marquees, Chivari chairs and table hire, attentive staff, supercars and so much more. Call 07860 125 092 or visit mirageweddingsuk.com. Also across all social media. Mirage, making every wedding better.
कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट कोड आप ही के अतियात से हजारों यतीम बच्चों की जिंदगियां बदल रहा है। इस रमजान मुबारक में अपनी ज़कात, सदकात, फितराना और अतियात कोर्ट को दें। नेकी और खैर के इस अमल में आपका हिस्सा अल्लाह पाक कबूल फरमाए, आमीन।
Code Educational Complex, Jatla Road, Akhtarabad, Mirpur Azad Kashmir, UK Office 0300 123 7774, code.org.uk.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. I have a very special guest with me who I'm very excited about. But what I'm going to do is, because I started giving some hints and tips about stalking and physical stalking, so I just want to finish that before I talk to our special guest. So we talked about considering carrying a personal alarm, and like I said, you can get these free from Peterborough Women's Aid if you go on our website. Things like varying your daily routine, taking different routes to and from work can be really useful, and also knowing where a safe location is. So, for example, like a 24-hour Tesco, somewhere that has security guards, that can be really good. Talk to the police about CCTV and installing a panic button at your home. So another thing that Peterborough Women's Aid do, we can provide, if you are a victim of abuse or stalking, we can provide you with a Ring doorbell, and we can provide you with other security measures. So again, access this through our website. And then it's the obvious things, ensure all of your doors and windows are locked before you leave home or go to sleep. So I'm going to stop talking about stalking now. I think we're going to cover it in one of our next shows when Sue's back. So I'm delighted that I am joined by Linda Huskerson from Living Keys. So Linda is not only a colleague but a friend of mine, and I'm so happy that she's here. Linda, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.
So, Linda's rushed here, so she hasn't heard my question of the week. So my question of the week, Linda, is I'm moving house, and my living room in my new house, there is no room for a TV. So Linda's face just dropped then. She was like, what? My question of the week to our listeners is, what would you do without a TV? What would you do?
Oh, easy.
Oh, go on.
Oh, I love reading.
Oh.
I'm not very big on TV anyway. But yeah, I love reading, doing hobbies, doing a bit of painting or whatever, get away from the TV.
So we've had loads of feedback about this question this morning, and everyone is saying, I don't really want a TV. I'm quite happy reading. I'm quite happy cake baking or doing hobbies, and actually it would be a bit of a blessing not to have a TV. So I'm hoping this move might be a really positive thing.
Yeah.
That we might actually talk amongst our family rather than just sit and watch Netflix. Okay, if you want to tell us what you would do without a TV, you can call on 01733 602 133. Text on 074 119 1062 or comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. So Linda, Linda is like just the most amazing person with the most amazing story, experiences, life. So Linda, I'm just going to ask you, like, what do you do and how did this all become about for you?
Okay. Well, for several years, I've worked in supported housing with a local housing place, and I did that for a long time. I enjoyed doing it, but I've been in domestic abuse myself, and I was in that for 11 years.
Wow.
And I jumped out of the frying pan from my marriage into the fire, so to speak, with another person that I ended up being groomed and everything as well. So I was groomed into prostitution. I couldn't run away from that. I tried to run away 3 times, and each time I was beaten and found and beaten. On the last time I got away, and I came back to my family because I never shared my family interest with him because he was just awful. So he didn't know where my family were, so I actually ran back to my family and spent my time with my brothers. From there, I about 10 years ago, it'd be 10 years ago now, I was giving somebody a challenge to write my story. And
I've read the story.
Yeah, Ralph Turner was amazing. And he wrote my story for me, and the book came out 10 years ago. It took 2 years, a lot of hard work, a lot of crying, counselling as well, because it was a healing process for me. And now it opened up a lot of doors, so I was able to go into churches, conferences, really open up about domestic abuse and the severity of it. That it's not easy to just get up and leave. So that's how it started. And then I started a Cherish group, which is at Kingsgate Community Church, and we have lots of women, different women there that are broken. They might be widowed or all that sort. So we look after women there. And then I started 4 years ago. I decided during the lockdown, because the percentage went up so high on domestic abuse, it really broke me. And there was a couple of ladies that I had to help that I was looking after before, and they had to go into refuge. And one particular lady had no money. Her husband was the one that controlled everything, so she couldn't have a card or anything because he would trace her. And so I gave her £30. That's all I had in my purse. And then I did this 10,000 steps a day to try to get money for women in refuge so that they can actually have vouchers, so that when they've got the vouchers they can go into Tesco's or somewhere like that, because there's clothing there as well and all sorts. So that's how it started. And then I decided, no, I need to do more. So Living Keys was developed, and we now look after lots of women. We do the Freedom Programme, Domestic Abuse Recovery Toolkit, the Hope to Recovery course as well, and we have a drop-in as well, so we can just meet up with the ladies and do what we need to do.
Wow, is all I can say. So, Linda, what's the name of your book?
Cheating, Death, Living Life.
Oh, Cheating, Death, Living Life. So, and it's available on Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. I would recommend everyone to read this book because it is what it says on the tin, isn't it? You know, it's this history of, you know, the abuse that you went through, and then how you recovered and how your faith really helped you through.
Absolutely.
It is. Yeah, it's an amazing book, absolutely amazing book. So yeah, please go and buy it on Amazon. It's so good. So Linda, you established Living Keys. So for people that don't know about Living Keys is a kind of a sister organisation to things like ours, like Peterborough Women's Aid, and Linda supports victims of domestic abuse. Linda, tell me, so you said that you run the Freedom Programme. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that is, and if people felt they wanted to go on it, how would they go about doing it?
Okay, the Freedom Programme, it's really kind of, you're working from a book, but also it's all about the dominator. So we're actually looking at the tactics of a dominator, and we're looking at the different characteristics that they would have. So you've got the bully who will intimidate you with his whole body. You've got the bad father. You've got the jailer who will move you away in isolation, get you away from your friends and family. And we don't actually realise that because we're so in love and we feel that, you know, he loves us, you know, not knowing that actually what they're doing is trying to control us completely. So we look at their beliefs. What do they believe? Because their beliefs is they think they're normal. That's the problem. They think they're normal. And what they're doing is normal, that they're entitled to own us or entitled to hit us or whatever and to control us. And then we look at the way those beliefs are reinforced in our society today. So you think about the CPS, if there's not enough evidence, sometimes with the police even, if they're not empathetic enough, I'd say, and different people. So it can be challenging. Then we look at the effects it has on us. And when we actually see those effects and we've written them down, it does. I always say to everybody, look at that. You've gone through that. Does that make you feel weak? Because absolutely, I feel you're really strong getting through everything that you've got through. So they're not weak. There is a strength on the inside of them, and it's being able to nurture that out. And then of course we look at healthy relationships as well. So it's a really, really good course and very empowering to women because it will help them recognise that the abuse is not their fault, it is the fault of the controller.
And this is what we say repeatedly on this show, isn't it? It's about the choice to abuse is always the perpetrator's choice, nothing, you know, to do with the victim of abuse whatsoever. I have got a comment, but I'm going to wait. Linda, if there is someone listening who thinks they might benefit from the Freedom Programme, how can they get in touch with you?
They can contact me either by my website, because there's the application forms on there. So the application, if you go on my website, which is www.livingkeys.co.uk, if you click on the Contact Us button, there's an application form there. Or you can contact me on 07 507 269 081.
Perfect. And Living Keys is just livingkeys.co.uk, isn't it?
Yeah.
The website to be able to refer yourself in.
Yeah.
And on that website, there's other resources as well, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about those?
The different things that we do, so we're doing different events. We've got a drop-in service, of course, as well. Today, we've got Bianca, our lovely Bianca, that's actually doing the mental health and well-being, because that affects us when we've been in abuse. So it's looking for different opportunities. How can we help equip our ladies and help them to be a lot stronger and go out with confidence rather than feeling deflated and rejected? So, yeah.
Amazing, thank you. So we have another answer to the hot topic question is, what would you do without a TV? Everyone is being quite positive about this. And the next text I have says, without a TV, I'd probably get my 10,000 steps in.
Oh, there you go.
So everyone's being really positive about this no TV. I'm feeling a bit more confident about my house move now. So thank you, everybody. I am joined by Linda from Living Keys, who runs a domestic abuse charity here in Peterborough. And Linda began by telling us a little bit about her story and the reason why she has developed her own fantastic charity. Linda, what do you think? I've read your book, so I know the answer to this, but how do you think you got through those years of abuse? What I don't know. What enabled you to do that?
That's a good question. I didn't. I couldn't cope. And it was my faith. And it was two women that actually believed in me, that come and spoke to me about faith. And I thought, I've got to give it a try. What have I got to lose? Because I was the day that they came to see me, I was actually in hospital. I'd had a ruptured spleen from a beating that my ex-partner had done. And so I was in hospital with that. And I was actually going to give up my life that night. I had sleeping tablets and I had half a bottle of vodka, and I was going to take it that night. And these two women, I think it's a miracle. Otherwise, I don't think I'll be here.
So you're in a hospital bed. You've been absolutely, battered by the perpetrator of abuse. You're thinking, that's me done. I don't really want to be here anymore. And then these two, I mean, it sounds like I'm describing and then these two angels appear or something like that, doesn't it? So where were these two women from, and what did they say to you?
They came out when I was working on the streets. I was out on the corner of the street one day working, and I could see these two women talking to another lady that was working, and then they came over to me, and I thought they was lost, and so I said, "Can I help you?" And she went, "Jesus loves you." And oh, do you know what I am? I was like, "Oh no, you can't talk to me about this," and trying to get them away, because my ex-partner used to come up the road in a car
to
make
check
sure
that you were working.
Check I was
Oh,
working.
my word. Okay.
And if he'd seen that I was talking to two women, he would go ballistic. So I was literally trying to get them to go away. And I said, "Look, see that house there? If it's not got a red light, come and see me there, and I'm not working." And they found out I was in hospital, and they came all the way to hospital to see me, and really, really spoke to me. And they was like, and prayed with me as well. And it was at that point I thought, I've got to give this a go and see. And I've never looked back. Never looked back.
Wow. So tell me about the next kind of couple of days after that. Did you start kind of going to church?
No, I had to carry on working. But what happened was, because he never used to come to the house when I was working, so I was quite safe. But when I had given my life to Jesus and I became a Christian, these two women came round my house where I used to do work, you know what I mean? And the punters that used to knock on the door didn't know whether they were coming to have sex or to a church, because they would be singing in my front room and scared them away. And so that was how it was. And then literally the first few days was really frightening, because even though I came out, he put me back on the street. And I was like, am I ever going to ever be able to get out of this? And it was about a week later, he said he was going to Wales for a few days. And then I thought, that's my chance. So I packed up this little, like you were going to a refuge, because I was too scared. I just wanted to get away. And there was one person I knew who was a taxi driver, who was a good friend of mine. And I said, I'll pay you for a taxi to come all the way to Spalding from Southampton. And I said, but you do not tell anyone where you've dropped me off or you've not seen me. And he kept to his word, and he didn't. And I'm still here to tell the tale.
I mean, this is just a remarkable. Look, I always get choked up and lost for words when I speak to Linda, because it's such a. I can feel from you what you went through, and then now here you are talking to me, and I must say, always smiling. Linda is always smiling and always so welcoming and calm, and gives us this beautiful vibe. And I think after everything you went through, you're still this amazing, giving person, and that is completely down to finding Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I could live life without him now.
No.
Completely.
Wow. So, all the I do just want to say, if the things that we're talking about are affecting you and you would like support, you can access Linda's services at livingkeys.co.uk. She's local service to Peterborough, or you can call our advice line on 01733 894 964. So Linda does amazing work in the community with victims of abuse, and last year it was last year, wasn't it? Her amazing work was recognised. Come on, tell us all about it.
Oh, no. I had a phone call from Radio Cambridgeshire telling me that I was nominated for a volunteer award, because we do everything voluntary. And I was gobsmacked, is the only word I can use. And anyway, we went to the events in September last year, and my husband said to me, Linda, did you do a speech? And I went, no, I ain't going to get picked. I said, there's loads of people out there that do amazing, amazing stuff. I said, won't pick on me. And then my name got called, and I was, I think, speechless for once.
So Linda won volunteer at the BBC Make a Difference Awards last year, and I was there, and we didn't even know, did we? And you didn't. I could see Linda. I was I was in the back, and Linda was up the front, and I could see her, but she couldn't see me, and she didn't see me until you were having your photo, because she could hear me when they said Linda. We all went a bit crazy. So what has winning the award kind of meant to you, and also meant to Living Keys?
I think that the award really goes out to all my volunteers, because without those volunteers I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. So it's not just for me, it's for all of them. And I want to kind of put a picture in the back, because it's glass. I want to put a picture on the back of it with all the team, so it's team effort. But it's at the moment, I'm going to the garden party, the King's Garden Party, on the 20th of May.
Have you got a new dress?
Yes, I've got a new dress, got new sandals, new bag.
Wow.
So, yeah, and
is that at Buckingham Palace?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my word.
So I've never been to Buckingham Palace, so that'll be a thrill. And I'd love to be able to speak to Camilla, because Camilla has a heart for women that have been through abuse. So I'd love to speak to Queen Camilla about this.
Well, I met Queen Camilla before she was Queen. And I used to work down in London, and she came to one of my refuges.
Oh, wow.
She came to visit, and she was lovely. A lot smaller than you think.
Is she?
Yes, she is. That was
my size.
That was my takeaway. But she's a really strong advocate, isn't she, for victims of domestic abuse?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So basically, you're not bothered about the King. You want to see Camilla.
It'd be lovely to see the King as well, obviously. But yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. And then you were interviewed on BBC as well, weren't you?
I was, yeah. So yeah, definitely. And it's just, but there's so many people out there that's doing amazing stuff. So I really didn't think I'd get picked, but it's wonderful, and it's nice to be able to know that we've actually been recognised for the work that we do and the hard work that everybody actually puts in. I mean, sometimes I do 60 hours a week, you know.
And can I just reiterate, Linda does not get paid for this?
No.
So obviously, I mean, my work for Peterborough Women's Aid, I get a salaried job. Linda does this for nothing because she wants to help and change people's lives, which, is... It blows my mind. Linda blows my mind all of the time, but it's just the work is so important. And when a survivor or victim meets Linda, you give off this overwhelming feeling of calm and love and kindness. And I think that is why what you're doing has been so successful, and why women come to you and they want support, and then you get more women volunteering for your organisation.
That's right.
Because it's just so amazing. I wanted to, so you've told us the kind of what happened to you in the past, and being forced to being a sex worker, being horribly violently abused, thinking that you wanted to end your own life. Can I ask you don't need to answer this, where are you now in your life in terms of kids, grandkids, all of this stuff. Is there a happy ending? I suppose that's what I want to ask.
For sure. I lost my kids when I actually lost my children. They were adopted because of the abuse and all the rest of it. So I had lost my children, but I never gave up hope. It was hard at the time, and I really, especially going through the prostitution and everything, I became a drug addict and all sorts of stuff because I hated life. Really didn't like it. So I really want to thank Tony and Karen. They're the two ladies that came to see us. And but I'm so happy. I've been married now for 35 years.
Wow.
Been with him 37. Supports everything that I do. He's never said a cross word to me. I've got my children back in my life. So my son lives in Coventry. My daughter lives 5 minutes away from me.
Wow.
I've got 14 grandchildren.
14?
Yeah, 14 with 3 kids in total. It's crazy. 2 of them are twins. And then I've got 2 great-grandchildren as well. So
Linda does not look old enough for great-grandchildren.
Started young.
So after all the trauma, and it is, this awful trauma you've been through, and how your life is now focused around helping others, isn't it? That's your pure focus, your life, and your family, and your husband. This story is, I think we need to contact Netflix or something like that. I do. I think you should get the pageant on this so no one takes it. And please do read Linda's book, because it's the most amazing life story and experiences, and the story of a woman who, was, like you say, was going to end your life, and now here you are kind of talking to me. One last question for you. What is next? Because I kind of feel that you're not going to just carry on. Linda's always got something up her sleeve.
I'm writing another book.
Are you?
Well, I'm not. Ralph will be. Yeah, so it's follow on from the story that I had to where I am now. So it's sharing the challenges that I had to face with trying to live a steady life and work and going into work and things like that. So Ralph Turner is going to be doing that for me.
This is amazing. Linda is writing another book. I just cannot wait. I cannot wait till this comes out. We haven't got long, but I want to say, if you've listened to this and you're listening to it on Facebook, YouTube or whatever, please share this show, because the second half of the show, where we've been talking to Linda, is truly inspirational for any woman out there who has been a victim of abuse and wants to help others and wants to turn their life around. And there are very, very few Lindas in this world, and I'm privileged to know her. I'm privileged to work with her. And please, please read her book. So that is all for us, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time. Take care.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Whether you're eating in or ordering for collection or delivery,